The governors have been told all the things they know already, but with their own personal interest, allow them do what is right. And that's the big bone of contention. It's not that they don't read the papers to know that the economy is in dire straits. That Nigeria, as we speak today, is broke. That Olusegun Obasanjo met a debt of 28 billion, he reduced it for over 2 billion, and President Muhammadu Buhari met a debt of 7 billion, he increased it to 41 billion. If you are to share the debt of over 41 billion amongst 200 million Nigerians, each Nigerians that do not even have access to that don't have access to $1 per day, have a debt of over 380,000 naira for them on their neck as we speak today.
If there's any journalist that I respect most, any journalist that I respect, that I doff my cocoa for, is Rufai Oseni. Fearless journalist. Some people will say, you keep saying fearless journalist, he's so brave. If anything happened to him, are you going to be there to support him? Are you going to be there to bail him out of jail and all of that? If a person is doing well, let us say he's doing well. If somebody is doing bad, let's say the person is doing bad. No, be so. This Rufai Oseni spoke at length. This is not the first time this man has been speaking the truth to power. And you see a lot of that journalists, they see the truth, they see these as negative, because is either they are scared or they've been bought over or they've been given money to say some things that are not supposed to be. You see some journalists, they ask questions on the television, you'll be like, is this truly a journalist? You see some journalists, they give their comment or their review on issues. You'll be wondering, is it truly a journalist? How did he become a journalist? But this, my brother, my guy, Rufai Oseni, made a lot of sense. Even places where adult journalists, people that have been in journalism for years, they'll be speaking like from two sides of their mouth. This man will go straight to the point. If people see, all die and I die, we are all going to die at some point, but it is our prayer that we live long on earth. But then, when you die, what are people going to say about you? A lot of people will say, okay, when he was alive, he has two sides, he speaks from both sides of the mouth. Okay? People will say that to you. But when you speak truth to the power, when you speak truth at all time, you see this thing that is not right, you say it is not right. You see that one that is right, you say it is right. When you go, people will say that about you. People will give kudos to you. People will begin. You see, your legacy will continue to reign. But if you are the type that speaks from the two sides of the mouth, people will also say the same thing about you. This guy made a lot of sense. You see, some of those things that they say on this, media, television, these journalists, all they say, maybe on Arise News, on channels, or different other, news medias and things like that. I don't pick all of them. I don't pick all of them because some of those people, some of those journalists are politicians as well. Some of them are working for the politicians. You'll be very surprised that politicians have been approaching some of the journalists to be on their side. But some people, regardless of how much you're trying to bribe them with, they will say no, and they will still continue to speak the truth to the power. And that's the reason why this country, Nigeria, has been like this. No justice. People cannot speak the truth. People serve money. What you want to eat is what people look about. That's what they look for around. But this, my guy, spoke the truth. When you listen to what he said in this particular clip I'm going to show you, you will understand with me. There are certain things that when people say it, you don't worry about it. But there are certain things as well that when people say it, you pick points from it. What this guy said made a lot of sense. And I want you to watch the video yourself. Listen to him. Maybe you're going to learn one or two things from him. It's good to be truthful. It's good to say the truth at all times. Don't speak from two sides of the mouth. Otherwise, it doesn't make you a man. It only makes you less a man. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to leave you to watch the video. Leave your comments behind. I'm going to be speaking to you in the next video. I'll see you.
Like I always say, every generation have the time and the chance to change the course of its destiny. The problem with Nigeria today is because this generation of leaders have just decided to put Nigeria down. Why do we talk about the likes of the Awolowo today? Because in their time, they changed the course of Nigeria's destiny. as somebody from Ogun State, I still drive on the roads that were built by Awolowo. If I want to drive from Ikene to my village via the old road. But you see, we have a bunch of leaders that don't think of the future. They just think what to eat now. And it destroys their country. And that's why you see they are forgotten. I'm happy about the governor's meeting yesterday. But the question is, governors even hear the things they tell them, or it enters one ear and goes out with the other. These are the same governors, and some of those governors were there. These are the same governors that want to claim big fat pension bonuses. But their states are in debt of trillions of naira. They plunge their states in debt. And how do they do this? The first way governors do is they do big white elephant projects. They take loans that they will benchmark against their federal government allocation for the next 30, 20 years. They say they are building airports. They say they are building all sorts of infrastructure. I'm not saying infrastructure is not good, but you don't build what you don't have the wherewithal to build. I keep stating that Delta State has 2 airports today because when Warri was ripe enough for that infrastructural development, Shell had a hand in building the airport in Osubi. But you see, to a large extent, they do the white elephant project, fritter away the Commonwealth, and they put the state in debt. And that's what Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was saying yesterday. Now look at the situation of Nigeria. Most of the governors are owed a lot of debt, and they keep owing this debt because they misplaced the priority. It's either the governors are attending to their political godfathers, frittering away our resource, or wasting our wealth in general. She talked about the fact that we have a young population. We can use this young population for development. But what do? The politicians use them for political divisiveness during elections. Look at our economy as we speak today. Do you know that Nigeria today, I saw a report in this day that is saying that our budget deficit will increase because we're not beginning to meet our quota of production of crude oil. So there's a lot of lapses, but the governors keep incurring a lot of debts. President Muhammadu Buhari will praise himself about the election, but can we all truly beat our chest that these elections were an indication that we're maturing? Look at the public disgrace again that we got in the hands of the BBC, revealing how manipulated Rivers' election was. Foreign media beginning to show a show of shame to the public. And this is us that we're supposed to lead the way. Foreign media show our election result sheet how they were mutilated. But because people want political preservation, they do all sorts and they fool themselves and fool Nigeria. So is that a reflection of how maturing we are? The people that we give true praise to are the Nigerians that came out to vote on election day, which have held the line and have done well for their country. But with the organization of the election, can we say it met the aspirations of Nigerians? The court will decide that. So like I said before, the governors have been told all the things they know already, but with their own personal interest, allow them do what is right. And that's the big bone of contention. It's not that they don't read the papers to know that the economy is in dire straits, that Nigeria as we speak today is broke. That Olusegun Obasanjo met a debt of 28 billion, he reduced it for over 2 billion, and President Muhammadu Buhari met a debt of 7 billion, he increased it to 41 billion. If you are to share the debt of over 41 billion amongst 200 million Nigerians, each Nigerians that do not even have access to that don't have access to $1 per day, have a debt of over 380,000 naira for them on their neck as we speak today. But when Olusegun Obasanjo came in, the debt was like 17,000 naira per Nigerian. So these are the things that we all know and we talk about every single day. Only yesterday, inflation has risen up to 22%. And when we say we made giant strides in agriculture, but food inflation is on the increase and farmers can't take their goods out, then what's the way forward? So the governors know all they have been told. The question is, will they bring down their garb of personal interest and enriching themselves and truly work for the Nigerian people? Dear governors, it is best you leave a legacy and be financially broke in your account after leaving office than you are very rich but you leave Nigeria worse than the way it is. I know people around you will tell you that being a governor means you should be rich when you leave office. But please think that no matter how much you steal, you will leave all that money on earth and go one day. And what will live after you will be your legacy.